Hi there, I'm Brett Lonsdale from Lightning Tools, and today we're going to take a look at an on-demand demonstration of Lightning Forms. If you don't know what Lightning Forms is a form design tool which you can use inside of Microsoft SharePoint to customize the SharePoint list forms. And we're going to use Lightning Forms today in order to be able to build an IT help desk solution so that anybody inside our organization can submit a support ticket, and we can have help desk representatives manage those tickets and close those tickets if necessary. So to get us started, I'm actually using one of the new IT help desk templates that is provided by Microsoft. So you'll notice if you go into Microsoft SharePoint and you hit create site, under the team site option is a number of different templates that you can select, and I'm using here the IT help desk template as part of our solution, and that will of course give us the lists that we require and give us a good head start. So inside that IT help desk site, you already get a tickets list. And if we go into that tickets list, you'll see here that you can submit a ticket. And we'll just have a look at the default form that you get with that list. So when we hit new, you'll notice this opens up as a side panel. And within there, we've got an issue field where we can give a subject of our support ticket. We can also describe the support ticket, and we've got some other fields like the priority, of course, of that support ticket, the status as well, so we can track whether it's new or completed or in progress, who it's assigned to. Of course, maybe the help desk manager can assign this to an appropriate resource. We've also got the date it was reported, the source. It could be a telephone conversation, or it could be an email, etc. And then we've also got an images field and an associated files field where we can go through and upload any supporting documentation for the ticket. So that's what we're going to be customizing. We're going to customize the new form so that we've got an improved layout. It's a little bit more user-friendly when we're submitting a ticket, and we're also going to apply a little bit of business logic in there as well. But most of the work is actually going to be done on the edit form and the display form, so that we can also track the status a little bit better using an activities list of the support ticket itself. Now, I'm also going to involve a ticket activities list. Now, this list here does not come with the IT help desk site template. I've created this one myself. So I created this from the custom list, and what you'll notice in here, it has the simple sort of title, description, the type, so whether it was a call, an email, or submitting a form. We've also got the person who logged the ticket and the time spent trying to troubleshoot that ticket as well. So what we're going to do is actually embed this as an activities list on the edit form, so that anybody that is an IT help desk support person can come in here and they can log all the troubleshooting activities that they completed whilst working on that support ticket. There's also a devices list. Now, this one does come with the IT help desk site template. I've just added a few items in here, and we're going to use this for a lookup column so that if anybody is submitting a ticket, it can be related to either some software that is causing us the issue, or it can also be related to something like a printer or a laptop or something along those lines. So we're going to look up from this list as well using our tickets list. So in order to get started, to get customizing the form, what we're going to do is go into the tickets list, and you'll notice that there is a Lightning Forms button, and we're going to click onto that button, and it presents me with the three existing forms that we have inside that tickets list. We've got the new form, the edit form, and the display form. So of course, new form is used for creating new items, edit form is used for editing items, and display form is used for a sort of read-only view of that item. Now, you can customize each of these independently. You can also customize it once to get the layout that you require. You can then export that layout as a JSON file and then import it into the edit form and the display form, so you've got a consistent look and feel across all three forms, but they remain independent, and that's important so that we can add specific logic to things like the edit form. So for example, you wouldn't have a submit ticket on an edit form, you would have that on the new form, but you may have an approved ticket, for example, or reassigned ticket on the edit form that wouldn't be appropriate being on the new form. So these can remain independent for that reason. Now you've also got the ability to add additional forms if you want to. So we've got the default forms that you get, but if we want to have an additional display form, this could be so that we provide a different experience based on who you are. So if your persona is the person who submitted the ticket, you may want to have a view of the progress of your ticket, but you don't necessarily need to know the inner workings and the detail that the support representatives have put into managing that ticket. So we could create some different views there using different types of forms. So in order to get started, we're going to customize the new form. So when I hit the customize button, one thing you'll notice is we are still in SharePoint. So we've got the context of being inside of Microsoft SharePoint, which is really helpful when we're trying to build calculations and we want to work within the context of the current user or the current site that we're on, and we want to test some of those calculations as we're building them. So what we're going to do first of all inside here is click onto the form settings. And the reason why I'm clicking onto the form settings is I want to change the initial size of the form. Remember, this is a side panel that pops out to complete the form, and most of the page is useless whilst we've got that form open. So because we're going to actually build quite a powerful form, we're going to go with a large form that will take up more of the screen, but it will remain as a responsive side panel for the users to work in, and that will give them a better experience when they're completing the form as well. We could go full screen, as you can see, and there's a few other properties that we'll come to a little bit later on. But let's just save this for the time being. So we've got a bigger form, and you'll see that when we go to test the solution for the first time. Then we're going to get into the form layout itself. So here we've just got a sequential list of the fields that came with a form, but what we have the ability to do is to add new sections and new rows. So I'm going to add a new one column section right at the very top of my form, and within inside that section I'm going to add a rich text field. So when we hit the plus button, you'll notice here that we can add fields. These are the fields that belong to the current list that I'm editing. We also have a data lookup column. Now you get a data lookup column type with a standard SharePoint list. This one gives you that added capability of looking up across sites, and also gives you a better experience being able to search and filter the list and display multiple columns from that lookup as well. We've also got some additional controls such as tabs and rich text. There's file viewers, and there's also lists and libraries that we can embed on this form as well. So what we're going to work with here initially is just a simple rich text field. Now this is a simple control. We can use it to put images or titles on our form. We could also use it to maybe provide the user with some explanation as to what's expected inside certain fields. So basically we've got the ability to add any form of rich text we like on that form. And I'm going to use it for a title. So I'm just going to go down to the heading style, and we'll put IT help desk dash support ticket. So we'll also center that so it appears on our page. And what I'm also going to do is to come down a little bit and add the status of the support ticket as well. So we're not having to look down into the detail of the form. You'll notice here there's a field called status, and if we go into the, our expression builder, we can check out the underlying name, which is actually also status. So there's no spaces in there or anything else that we need to worry about. So what I can do is pick up the field value and display that also inside a rich text header, which gives a dynamic way of displaying additional information inside that header, and we can make that bold and so on if we want to as well. So that's this section right at the very top. Underneath that, let's go through and add some tabs. So tabs are a great way of controlling the layout of your form, especially if you've got forms that have a lot of fields. You can organize those fields into tabs, which gives a better experience for the end user. So we're going to have our first tab for the main sort of details of the ticket, but I'm also going to add 3 more at this stage, and we'll go through and label them and set an appropriate icon. So when we hit the configure tab option, we can give it a name, and that's the display name. Note that we can also control when this tab is going to be visible and when it's enabled, so that tab can be dynamically displayed, and that could also be based on um, who you are as a user as well, if need be. And then the icon, we're going to go through and choose an appropriate icon. There's one actually which represents a ticket quite nicely. So it's a little ticket icon. So we'll use that. So once I choose OK, we've got our main tab created. Now this is going to have quite a few fields in it, so I'm going to change the row configuration within that tab to a 2-column section, and this will allow us to have side-by-side fields as we go through. So we'll start off just simply by dragging and dropping some of those. We'll have the issue. We'll also have the priority and the status all within inside that section. We could also, if we so choose, have the assigned to within there, as well as date reported and issue source. So there's quite a lot of detail going into that main ticket submission. Now I didn't put issue description within inside that main section. I thought it may be better off having quite a bit of space. So what we can do is add that under its own tab, and let's come in here and add a title for that. I'm also going to again choose an appropriate icon. So something representative of notes, and then we're also going to have a tab here for any supporting images. This could be screenshots that are taken, and finally any files as well. So we can drop those into the appropriate tab. So let's just go through and label this one images. And we can again choose an icon for that. And we'll create one here called files as well. Okay, so we have our layout created within that form. Now the other thing we're going to do is create a couple more fields that we may need. So what I do want to have first of all is a ticket number that's currently absent from the default template that you get. So I'm going to generate that right at the very top. So we're going to click onto the plus icon. It's not an existing field. We're going to need to create it. So I'm going to hit the plus, and let's give it the title of ticket number. And it's just going to be a single line of text field, and we're going to click on OK to that. Okay, so we've got the ticket number generated, and we're going to actually set the value for that dynamically in a moment when we get into some of the calculations. Now, you'll also notice within inside this form, as we mentioned earlier on, we've got the status. So the status is displayed dynamically within inside that rich text section, but what we can do is use a bit of styling, so it really becomes obvious whether the support representative is looking at a new ticket or whether they're looking at an existing ticket. So what we're going to do is come to the very top, hit styling, and the styling can be applied to all of the fields or all of the buttons, etc. Any control type that is in common across the entire form, or we can also set styling on individual controls as well, and they include the rows as well as individual fields. So we added a row right at the very top of the form to put this rich text section in. So I'm going to go through and apply a style to that row. We could name it accordingly, but what I want to do is have a rule to say that If the status is equal to new, then we're going to change the background color, and I'm just going to go off with a sort of pale color blue, and notice how it creates the CSS in there, and we can see that we've set a background color on there. So let's just preview that, and you can see that's what's going to happen when this is a new ticket. It's basically going to have that that condition, and we could go through and create different styles for different conditions as well, but hopefully you get the idea of that one. If we did want to apply a style to all of the controls of the same type, we could say we want to apply a style to all of the fields, and the field is made up of the actual input section itself, as well as the label and the text. So under the label, what we're going to do here is just change the color of the label. We're going to go away from the default color black. I'm going to choose one of the theme colors here, which is a navy blue. And let's just preview that, and you can see how the labels have all changed color here to blue as opposed to black. And we're keeping it stylish. It's using the same default colors that you get with that theme, and of course that would mean that it changes with the theme if ever we were to change the theme that's applied to the site. So let's just save and close that. That's our styling done. So we have a bit of the styling created. What we're also going to do next is to create an action button. So under actions, we're going to go to the command bar actions. We also have form load actions that we can create. So these could be actions pre and post the form loading. We're going to add a command bar action, which is going to sit alongside the save and cancel button that you get on the form itself. Now I'm going to simply, first of all, just edit the save button to say save draft. So this may be that I'm logging a ticket, but I'm not done yet. I just want to save it because maybe I needed a cup of tea or something along those lines. We're going to add a new one, though, which is going to be called submit ticket, i.e. I'm done. I now want somebody to come in and take a look at this for me. So again, I'm going to use that same ticket icon. And we're going to configure some actions here. Now, my actions are going to do my actions are going to be different based on the priority of the support ticket. So what I'm going to need is a condition control. So we're going to add a condition here to the flow of my action button. Now the condition is going to be that the priority is equal to high. So if this is a high priority ticket, we're going to do something different to all of the other tickets. So if that is true, if that is yes, then the first thing I'm going to do actually is save the form. So let's just come down here through the different actions and find the save form. Notice that you can also search as well if you can't see it by scrolling. So we're going to say save the form. In fact, we'll do that for if yes or if no. And we're then going to send an email. So I'm going to have a send email action here under the condition of being high. It's going to be an email that is sent from the current user. So in here we've got a list of the different fields, and you'll remember that one of the fields here was the issue logged by. We could use that, or under the contextual objects we can go against the current user and take that current user's email address. So I'll just double click onto email, and that's the one that's going to be used here. Who it's going to be sent to, there isn't a field on the form that is going to help me here. So what we're going to do is actually hard code an email address. So if we just cancel out of that one, this is going to be to helpdesk manager at lightning.tools. Okay, so that's who the email will be sent to. We can have a subject, and it's going to be high priority ticket. And these can be dynamically created. So we could append to that if we want to. If we just go into the expression builder, you'll see how we can do this. We can just simply append the title, which is the subject of that ticket. So let's just OK that one. That will be the subject. And then inside the body, we can say, please see high priority ticket. And within here, we could also create a link and so on if we needed to. So that's what's going to happen following the save. We'll send the email for the high priority ticket, and then we're also going to show a message to the user as well. We're going to have the success status type and just have this display for a few seconds. And we're going to again call this ticket as a subject, and inside the body we're going to say thank you for your high priority ticket. We will update you very soon. And of course that could correspond to the SLA and so on that ticket. Once we've done that, we're just going to simply close the form for now. So we'll add that as the next piece of logic. Or as the pop-up just told me, it'd perhaps be better if that was the last thing that occurs upon either condition being met. So we've got the email and the message. For anything that is not high priority, we're just going to save the form, and that's it. Of course, we could send a different email. We could also display a different message, but you've seen me do that. I would take the time to do it if we were going to build this for real. So let's just choose OK. That's our action builder. So we now have a submit ticket. I can move that up in the list of actions, so it can come before the cancel button. And you can also promote or demote these as well, so you get flyout menus also. All right, so that's the ticket submission. In fact, we can go back to this one, which I'm going to do. One thing we forgot there, if we just configure the actions, we do want to create a ticket number. So we're going to use a set field value, which is going to go here outside of the condition because we want to do it for both scenarios. And we're going to use this to set the ticket number. So the ticket number, if we use the expression builder, is just simply going to be ticket, the word ticket, followed by the ID, which is the item ID. So we're just going to use that, and that'll create the ticket number for me. What is important is we once again save after that field value has been updated. So let's just drag another save in there and choose OK. All right, so we're updating the ticket number. We've got our action button to submit the ticket. The next thing we're going to do is actually add a new data lookup so that we can correspond this with a piece of software or a device if necessary. So we're going to add a new field, and the field is going to be using a data lookup. And notice in here we've got the display name, which is going to be related source. The site URL is this site that I'm currently on. Notice it could be a completely different site. The list or the library I'm looking at from is called devices, and the display column that I want to store as a value here is going to be model. And what I do want to do is make this an enhanced lookup, allowing me to display more than that one column. So we're going to have the model. We could also have the manufacturer, and we could also have the asset type and even color if we want to. You'll also notice that we can create a lookup filter. So this could filter the list based on a previously entered value inside another field. So if we already had a category, for example, say laptop, printer, or software, we could also filter by those two. So let's just OK that. And we've now got our related source lookup column, and you can see that that's more powerful than your standard sort of lookup column that you get with Microsoft SharePoint. And just to finish this, let's just bring that issue logged by up into the main section of that form. All right, so with that done, let's save this so far. So that is going to increment the version of this form, and I'm also going to export the form as well, which will export the JSON, allowing me to bring that into the edit form and the display form. So now we'll just save and close for the time being, and we're going to refresh our ticket list, and we'll hit new. So what you'll see here is we have the color applied because it is a new ticket. We don't need to enter a ticket number. In fact, I could make it so that you can't. In here, we've got an issue, so I'm just going to say laptop display correct. There we go. Status is new. Date reported is today. The related source, I can go through and choose what I'm looking for. If it is a surface, let's say, we can start to type that in, limiting the results. So we're just going to choose the surface. Priority, let's make it a normal priority. Who this is assigned to, well, we don't really know at this stage. I'm just going to choose a user, and the issue source I'll just leave as blank. The issue is logged by me, and it'd be great if this defaulted to me as well. But let's just choose this user for now. There's the issue description. So I'm just going to say I cracked my laptop screen, and we could upload a photo of that or provide any files and so on. So that's the layout with the tabs, the bigger form, and notice at the very top is a submit ticket. So we're going to click onto that. That will submit the ticket, and we can see it's been logged here. Okay, so now that we've done that, we want to have a better way of being able to manage this ticket. So we're going to get into the edit form. So if we go into the Lightning Forms dialog again, you'll notice that this one, the new form, is already customized, hence the button is now saying edit customization, whereas the edit form still says customize, and that just looks like the standard display. So notice if we hit edit, you get the standard edit form and the default layout, whereas we want to see our custom layout. So we'll go into Lightning Forms once more. Let's hit customize, and we're going to import the tickets new form. And when we're importing that JSON file, notice how it's prompting us as to what we want to import as well. So we can bring across the form settings, such as the form size, the command bar actions, which currently only includes the submit ticket. I'm going to switch that one off because we don't need to submit a ticket once it's submitted. We could bring across any form load actions if we created some. I didn't, so we'll leave that as it is. Any form controls, yes, we want to bring those across, and we also want to bring across any styling as well. So let's just choose yes to that. And so you'll now see that we've got the same layout as what we had on the new form. So the next thing that we're going to get into is creating an embedded sublist. So right at the very bottom of my form, we're going to have a embedded sublist, which is the activities list that I created. So this is the ticket activities. We can drop that onto the form, and we can either display all of the items within inside that list. We can choose a view. We can also filter the view using a camel filter again, or we can make it a related list, which is what I'm going to do. And we're making it a related list using a lookup column. Now, I currently don't have a lookup column created inside that ticket activities list. So I'm going to generate one. I just hit the plus. It's giving me the option of creating a column called lookup to tickets. and we can also cascade delete as well, meaning if I was to delete this support ticket, it would delete the activity related to that support ticket, so we don't have any orphaned items. So once we hit add, we've now got an embedded sublist, which you'll see as soon as I choose OK. You can customize that as well. Of course, you can customize the forms on that activities list. We can also customize the command bar that's shown on the submitted list, so whether we want to be able to create new, edit items, and delete items. You can also show the search box and a header as well, which we will do. So we'll embed that, and notice how we now have our ticket activities embedded. Now, part of the ticket activities list is this column here called time spent. And what I'd like to do is add another new field to my main form, which we don't have yet, called total time spent. So we can see how much time we've actually spent on this support ticket. So we'll create a total time spent field. And we're going to make this a number field. And of course, using SharePoint out of the box, you can create a calculation, but what you're not going to be able to do with SharePoint out of the box is get into my sublist as part of that calculation, which is what we're going to do. So against that field, we can configure the expressions, and you'll notice that we've got visible expressions, enabled expressions, initial values, and also calculated values, and some validation as well. So under calculated, we're going to go into that expression builder. We're going to expand our contextual objects and our sublists. And under sublists, you're going to see the ticket activities. And inside ticket activities is the time spent field. So we're going to expand that, and it provides me with some aggregate functions that I can use to create my calculated value. So we're going to use the sum function to total up all of the time spent on this particular ticket. So let's just choose OK to that, add OK once more, and we'll be able to see that total time spent there. Okay, we could, if we wanted to, add a little bit more styling around that. So let's again go to styling. We'll find our total time spent field, and let's add a style. So what we're going to say here, if the total time spent is greater than or equal to 5, then we're going to add a bit of conditional formatting to that. So what I'd like to do is add a border. So we're going to go with a bright red border. And we could change the input color as well. I'm going to go with pink. And if we preview this, you can see what that field is going to look like. So we are drawn to it, and we can see that we're perhaps spending a little bit too much time on this support ticket. Okay, so let's just save and close that styling. The next thing we're going to do is create another action button as well. So this particular form has a status. We can see the status includes blocked, in progress, completed, duplicate, etc. We're going to add a close ticket button so we can mark that as completed. So we'll add close ticket. And we'll choose an appropriate icon. And again, we'll configure some actions. So as part of our closed ticket, we're going to set the field value, and the field is going to be the status, which we set to completed. Because we've updated a field value, we must save, and we're then going to send one more email, which is going to come from the current user. So under the contextual objects, we'll go to user and email, and who we're going to send this to is the person who raised the ticket, and that's the issue logged by. So we'll use the email address from that account. and we'll put your ticket as the subject, and I'll say your ticket has been closed. Okay, so that's the actions that we're doing there, and then again we could close the form if need be. So let's just hit that close form. Now I don't want anybody being able to close the ticket, so this is something that only perhaps managers should be able to do. So what we're going to do is get into the enabled expression here and say that if the current user is a member of an Active Directory group called Help Desk Managers, and when we test that, you'll see that I'm not a member of that group. Okay, but only people that are a member of that group will be able to close the ticket. So let's just save that. And that could be set as a condition for any control. It could be a field, it could be a tab, or whatever you need it to be when you're going through and editing those forms. Okay, so let's just one more time export this form because we made a few changes since the new form, and we'll save and close. And to just wrap this part of the demo up, we'll go through and import that into the read form. So under Lightning Forms, on our display form, let's import the edit form. And once again, don't really need the command bar actions. Okay, so that's just a simple demonstration. Of course, we could take this further. We can also take it further with two of the other products. One is called Lightning Tools Actions, which will be another demo that builds on top of this. That will allow us to bulk approve or bulk assign tickets and so on. So you can apply bulk actions to many items inside the list using a list command bar button. We'll also get into creating PDFs and Word documents as well using the document generator that can be packaged with Lightning Forms or also with Lightning Tools Actions. But for now, let's just give this one final run through, and this time what we're going to do is just hit the edit to edit our form. So now notice how that is taking us to this stage. We can say that this is in progress. Notice the conditional formatting has changed. The dynamic status is saying that it's in progress as well. A little bit further down, we can add some activities. So if I made a call to the laptop owner, so that was a phone call, it's logged by whoever, and we spent an hour on that. Notice how that gets associated with this this ticket, and we'll just create another item in here. Okay, and once more, we'll say who that was logged by, and that took 0.5. Okay, so notice the total time spent has been populated automatically, and I could go and close that ticket if I was a manager, but since I'm not a manager, I can't. So we'll just simply save this one, and that's changed to in progress. And let's just go through and change the logic on that button. So we'll edit the edit form one more time. And so we'll edit the close ticket button. Let me get rid of that enabled expression. Which will save me going to the Active Directory and making myself a member of that group. And so now we can come in, edit that item, and we can close the ticket. Okay, so that ticket is now closed and the status is marked as completed. Okay, so that was a little bit of Lightning Forms. If you would like a further demonstration of Lightning Forms, maybe to build a scenario around a real life requirement that you have, then please feel free to book a private demo with us. Equally, if you're interested in the Lightning Tools actions and what can be done with that, bulk updating multiple items inside a list, we have got the Lightning Tools actions that you can have a look at, and that can be packaged as part of the Lightning Forms demo. We've also got the migrator. So if you're looking to migrate from Nintex forms or looking to migrate from InfoPath forms or anything like that, we can do a lot of this work for you by simply reading in those forms and outputting to Lightning Tools. And finally, we've also got the document generator as well. So you'll be able to see how we can add on to this so that we can create a document, perhaps with all of the activity related to this support ticket. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching this demo, and I look forward to speaking to you. Many thanks. Bye-bye.